You're not missing out on any YouTube payments. So even though a new process has been put in place for you to get paid from YouTube, the criteria that you have to hit before YouTube decides to pay you is still the same as ever. To be eligible for YouTube payments, you need to have 1,000 subscribers on your channel and you need to have racked up over 4,000 hours of watch time on your YouTube videos. And even when you've hit those two things, you still need to have made over $100 worth of revenue on your channel before YouTube decides to pay you. And that translates to loosely around 50,000 views of your videos to make that $100 requirement. So that's the criteria that's the same as always, but what has hit those two things, you still need to have made over that $100 requirement. So that's the criteria that's the same as always, but what has changed? Okay, when going into the new YouTube Creator Studio and clicking on monetization to set up your channel payments, now this is the area where you go to check your eligibility to get payments from YouTube, and then you set up your YouTube payments once you are eligible. And what's changed now as part of the process is on this screen, you can now see your eligibility within YouTube Creator Studios. You can see it all within this one area. So you're gonna see a screen just like the one on screen now that shows you how many subscribers of the 1,000 needed you already have, and how many hours of watch time of the 4,000 hours needed you already have. So this is brand new to the process of setting up your YouTube payments. Before, you couldn't see this information in the admin area. So that's a new feature that's been added. And another new feature that's been added is you can click this button at the bottom that says notify me, and YouTube will send you an email as soon as you've hit those two pieces of criteria needed to start getting paid from YouTube. So the process to getting paid has been made super easy. You no longer have to keep going in to check whether you're eligible and going to different parts of YouTube to check that. It's all on one screen and you get an automatic email as soon as you are eligible. And once you've hit that criteria and you've had that email, there's then 3 steps to getting paid from YouTube. First off, you're gonna have to sign the YouTube Partner Program terms and conditions. You can do that from within YouTube. Next up, you then have to create a Google AdSense account that Google is gonna pay you through for your YouTube views. Finally, the third step is when you've done those 2 things, you have to wait for YouTube to review your channel to make sure they approve it getting paid. And YouTube will typically take up to 30 days to do that final review of your channel. And as long as your channel meets the YouTube Partner Program policies and the YouTube ad guidelines, you'll be completely fine and you'll be set up for YouTube payments in no time. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed, because we talk about the YouTube Partner Program policies, ad guidelines, setting up ads on this channel, so you can learn that from future videos coming out. But yeah, that is the new 2020 process for getting paid from YouTube that's made it completely simplified, easy to do, and you can do it all within the new YouTube Creator Studio. And as I said before, once you've been reviewed and you get approved, you then need to cross the $100 threshold to get your first payment from YouTube. And as I said, you'll typically need around 50,000 views to cross that threshold. But I've done a video in the past that you'll see here talking about how much you get paid per 1,000 views. All the factors that come into it to determine how high or how low YouTube pays you. So if you want to see a whole video on how much you can expect to get paid by 1,000 views and how to increase that, check this video out here. I'll put a link to the video in the description below. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a scary change that's been introduced within YouTube that could lose you a lot of money. And I'm going to tell you how to avoid that right now. And if you don't take the right steps here, you can get fined $42,530 by the FTC. So you need to make sure you do this correctly. So going back to the Creator Studio for your channel, you need to go to Settings and then click on Channel and then click on Advanced Settings. And you'll see here, do you want to set your channel as made for kids, and 3 checkboxes. And this is the new setting that's been added into YouTube. You need to make sure that you do correctly. And you need to basically tell YouTube here whether the videos you're making are for kids, whether they're not intended for kids, or whether you want to decide on a video by video basis whether it's a kid video or not a kid video. Now, YouTube started paying creators less if their content is focused solely on kids. So if your content is not for kids, you need to press no to make sure that you'll get paid more money by YouTube. And if your videos are targeted at kids, but you press no on this setting that you'll see on screen now, so you improperly label your videos, that's when you can get a fine of up to $42,530 from the FTC for improperly labeling your videos. So make sure that if your content is not for kids, you press no on this setting here. Now, I've spoken about a ton of different types of channels you can build to make money with YouTube in this video here that all don't focus on children. They're all on other topics that kids are not interested on that will make you money. So if you want to make money and you need channel ideas, watch this video here that I've done in the past to get those ideas flowing. And if you've already got a YouTube channel, let me know below in the comments what type of videos you create. Those are the steps then covering how to get paid from YouTube in 2020, and then also how to avoid losing money by choosing the right settings. In